Dude, what are you doing? We are here to do a job.
What's up, guys? Benny. There are so many problems in this country that need urgent and emergency addressing. It's hard to really list all of them, but the one that really comes to mind that I'm so proud that a Florida Congresswoman is addressing right now is discrimination based on having black hair.
I call on my colleagues from the U.S. Senate to pass the Crown Act to prohibit discrimination on the basis of hair texture, hairstyle that is commonly associated with a particular race and national origin.
Thanks. Thanks so much for caring about us, the American people, and the critical problems that this country is facing. This is Sheila Surflusis McCormick, and Sheila, who's so concerned about people's natural hair, who herself doesn't seem to be capable of, well, sporting her natural hair, that's clearly a wig, is also concerned about making sure that she is as rich as possible by stealing enormous amounts of money from you, the American taxpayers, and from the people of Florida who are suffering after a hurricane here, where Sherflufus stole $5 million in FEMA funds and then funneled it through her campaign so that she could win office. It really is amazing when these kind of things are so nice and neatly buttoned up. And I often say that like pretty much everyone in Washington, D.C. is a criminal, and they needed to engage in criminal activities in order to be elected. And now we know that Sherflufus did, in fact. Miami federal grand jury has returned an indictment charging Congresswoman Sheila Sherflufus McCormick and several other co-defendants with stealing federal disaster funds, laundering the proceeds to support her 2021 congressional campaign. She did this with her brother, because of course, and they both worked for a family healthcare company that received FEMA-funded COVID vaccination staffing contract. An overpayment of $5 million went to her. $5 million. An overpayment. This is like the government just kicks out, like accidentally makes rounding errors, and it's $5 million in your bank account. That ever happened to you on tax day? It happened to Sherflufus. Anyway, she didn't return the funds to the federal government. Instead, she decided to use the disaster relief funds for enriching herself, a particularly selfish and cynical crime. Nobody is above the law. Powerful people who rob taxpayers for personal gain, we're going to follow the facts of the case and deliver justice to Sherflufus. Anyway, looks like she is going to go to the slammer, ladies and gentlemen. No word yet as to whether there's racial discrimination based on her hair there
in
the federal courts.
We tried again.
Here's what
I also wanted
she
to
did.
ask you about the investigation into your families, but this is also part of her congressional duties. Congresswoman, you know, you're
They
under
used a
investigation
folder to block her.
for the congressional ethics for violation of campaign finances.
They're not sending their
Congresswoman,
best.
This is your district. You have to answer to these people.
They're not sending their best, as Donald Trump would say. She just runs away. Isn't that amazing? Ladies and gentlemen, it is a very bad thing that she's done. Indicted House Democrat will step down from committee leadership position. Oh, she was leading a committee. Oh, well. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries said on Thursday morning that she's going to step down from her leadership position on the Foreign Affairs Subcommittee. Isn't that great? She proudly represents the people of Palm Beach and Broward counties since 2022. Consistent with the United States Constitution, she's entitled to her day in court and her presumption of innocence. Well, all right. It's interesting because all of the available data presented in this prove a couple things. One, that she's actually clearly very racist against black hair, and two, that she clearly committed egregious campaign violations. House Republicans have already pledged to file a motion to censure her and then to eventually kick her out of Congress, expel her from the House. In a statement to Axios, Sherflufus said, "This is an unjust and baseless sham indictment. I'm innocent. The timing alone is curious and meant to distract from more pressing national issues." Oh, really? Really? Okay. Nobody's above the law, she often tweets. The indictment against Sherflufus has not yet been posted in the court's public docket but the Justice Department has not responded to Actia's copy of the filing. Fine. They stole all this money and then they funneled it through a campaign. Face up to 53 years if convicted. That's a lot of time. 53 years. I mean, goodness gracious. She's like 45, so that's the rest of her life in prison. Okay. There you go. The Congresswoman and her brother. The indictment says that she is going to jail for a long time. The indictment also charges her with her tax preparer with conspiring to file false federal tax return, according to the indictment. They falsely claimed political spending and other personal expenses. Uh-oh. So they have a CPA on this? Oh, no. You're cooked, because what I'll do is they're going to flip him. The feds know how to do this. They're going to flip him, and then you're going down. You. Federal grand jury in Miami has returned indictment. Too bad. Nobody is above the law, she keeps tweeting. No one above the law. Sheila Sherflufus stole the money. I call to prohibit discrimination based on hair texture. Okay. Yeah, great. Should have hired better accountants instead. Greg Stubbe. On second thought, I've decided to skip the censure and move straight to expulsion. Sherflufus needs to be swiftly removed from the House before she can inflict any more harm on Congress, her district, or the state of Florida. I'll be filing the resolution today. If she refuses to resign and save Congress the embarrassment of having to expel her, I'm just going to bring the resolution to the floor for a vote. Oh, boy. Oh, no. No, I'm old enough to remember when they kicked old George Santos out from Congress. Why'd they do that exactly? They kicked him out because he was indicted. The vote brings a scandal-plagued and tumultuous tenure to the Hill, the freshman New York congressman. Expulsion is the most severe form of punishment for a lawmaker. Exceedingly rare. Requires 2/3 of the majority to vote to succeed. A high bar. Santos was indicted, and that was enough in order to expel him. Wow. To hell with this place, he said. I agree. I mean, frankly. Let's see. What did they do? He sought to fraudulently exploit every asset of the House candidacy for his own personal financial profit. Wow. Look at that. And 105 Republicans voted with Democrats to expel. This is going to be a great opportunity to see the difference in the parties. Well. Will 100 Democrats vote to expel Sherflufus? She won really handily in this county. 72% of the vote. Goodness. We'll see. We'll see what happens. And 3 Democrat members in Congress are facing federal indictments. LaMonica McIver, Sheila Sherflufus, and Henry Cuellar. Oh, good. What a great. Look at this. Your leaders. Just as your founders intended, right? Your leaders for your nation. Yeah. Here's a local news report on Sherflufus. It's even funnier when you watch it from like a straight news reporting angle. I'm entertained. Are you not entertained? Here you go.
Right now at 11, we begin with breaking news. South Florida Congresswoman Sheila Sherflufus McCormick facing alarming allegations tonight.
Sherflufus McCormick, who represents parts of Broward and Palm Beach counties, is being charged with stealing millions of dollars from FEMA. She's also accused of using some of that money to help her political campaign back in 2021. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Lauren Pastrana.
And I'm Elliot Rodriguez. CBS News Miami's Abby Dodge is joining us live from outside the U.S. Attorney's Office in Miami with more details. Abby?
Well, this is just the latest legal battle that the Congresswoman has found herself wrapped up in. A former federal prosecutor tells me there is much more information that the public needs to see. 46-year-old Democratic Representative Sheila Sherflufus McCormick from Miramar is now facing several charges related to her family's healthcare company. The indictment says the charges stem from a $5 million FEMA overpayment back in 2021. It alleges the Congresswoman, family members, and business associates stole extra funds and ran them through multiple sources to disguise the source, then used some of that money to help finance her 2021 congressional campaign. Former federal prosecutor David Weinstein says more details about the representative's alleged role and how it may relate to other COVID relief cases will become clearer once the full indictment is released.
Certainly, the more the facts come out, the better we'll be able to gauge whether or not there was any misconduct.
Weinstein says cases involving the misuse of COVID-19 funding are similar to the Medicare and bank fraud crises of the past.
What happens is that these dollars go out, and when they're being sent out, nobody's really paying attention to who applied for them, why they applied for them, and it's not until afterwards when they start doing accounting and they figure out that they've misappropriated these funds that they then try to turn it around.
In Sheriff McCormick's case, there are also charges related to her tax filings. The indictment says the Congresswoman and her tax preparer falsely claimed political spending and other personal expenses as business deductions and inflated charitable contributions to reduce her tax obligations. The U.S. Attorney General called the representative's actions a selfish and cynical crime. Now, the Congresswoman could face up to 53 years in prison if convicted, and she is now in Washington, D.C., hopefully making her way back to South Florida to face a judge sometime before Monday. At the latest, we have reached out to her and her team and are waiting to hear back. Live in Miami, Abby Dodge, CBS News, Miami.